Nice. Well, hi there, everybody. Happy Star Trek Tuesday. It's time for the main viewer. There's so much news to talk about that I don't even know if we can do it all. We have so many tabs open that the computers might crash. So if it does crash, no contingency plan. Just hopefully it won't. So much to talk about. Yes, Patrick Stewart just floated some. Oh, by the way, one more extraordinary TNG movie, and we're like, wait, what did you just say? Also, Strange New Worlds just dropped another new trailer, which is kind of weird to drop a trailer after just the first episode. So
after they had already put clips of up for the first 3, it's crazy.
Well, I heard that they're just going to drop a trailer every Tuesday, in between every single. I didn't hear that, but maybe that's a thing. Also, Akiva Goldsman is still in the news, of course. He's talking about the appetite for Star Trek Legacy. We already know about that stuff. We've got Discovery Klingons. We've got Strange New World Klingons. We have so many Klingons. It's like if this was like when they say you like go so far around the world that you actually end up back where you were, maybe we're going to have so much to talk about with Klingons that we'll be back to zero and not talk about it at all. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But anyway, also we've got some Star Trek 6 information that's kind of peculiar. Anyway, let's get into all of it. No time to waste. This is going to be a 4-hour special, everybody. So hopefully, Melissa, you peed.
I don't think I could pee that much.
No, I have an appointment at 7:30. It can't be 4 hours.
All right. Maybe 2.5 then.
Okay.
Anyway, look, everybody, the point is that Melissa Longo is here wearing a Radical Stem Bolt and Chill shirt.
Yeah. Yay. I love this shirt.
Aw.
I wish I had like 50 of them so that I could wear one every single day.
You can. Everybody, you can have at least one or 50 by just clicking on the Star Trek and Chill Shopify link in the description box below and get your very own Stem Bolt and Chill shirt in whatever color you'd like, by the way. Also, Dr. Mohammed Noor is here, and he's sporting another shirt that you can purchase, I bet.
That's right. This is from theintrovertedrepublic.com. Is where you can get shirts like this. By the amazing Melissa Longo. Yeah.
And they will be featured at Star Trek Las Vegas, too, in the vendor's room.
I heard Kate Mulgrew will be wearing hers.
Oh, really? That's
nice.
fabulous.
That would be great. There's still time. Also, Dr. Anne-Marie Siegel is here finally with a lot of headroom. Wait, I'm going to be...
Oh my
You're
gosh.
gonna hear it from your brother.
All right. So, Anne-Marie, you're out of town today, aren't you? Where are you?
I'm in Connecticut.
Lucky.
Babysitting. Yeah.
Sounds glorious.
What was it? It was the Ira Stephen Barrett who said TNG is like the Connecticut of Star Trek. I think it was him that said that.
That's funny.
That's funny.
All right, and my name is Ryan T. Husk, and I'm wearing a System of a Down shirt because, every once in a while you just got to do that. That's the rule. I don't make the rules. I just follow
Yeah, I
them.
heard that.
Yeah, so, all right, let's say hello to everybody in the live chat and get up in this. Hello, Matt Boardman. Thank you for this great background that we are using. Hello, Chuck A. Jenny R. Johnson is here. Finally, what luck. Badger is here as well. David Gregory, Chris Gavin.
It's with
hello.
Linda Anderegg. They're hanging out.
What?
IRL.
Who is?
Isn't that fun? Dave Gregory and Linda Anderegg.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Fun twosome.
Yeah.
That is fun.
Also, Chris Gavin, Melissa H, Volk, Hello to all of you. Welcome to the show. Robert Kaiser out in Austria. Mona Mejas. Aaron, what's up? Stephanie Berner. It's not really her. This is her burner account. Back of the head, John Orchiola is hanging out as well. Rose Kirby out in Derby in the UK. Oh, before we get into those articles, everybody, in less than 4 weeks, there is a huge event, the Virtual TrekCon STLV Pre-Con Con. That is Sunday, July 16th. It's going to be a full day previewing Star Trek Las Vegas. So if you are going to Star Trek Las Vegas and you know you're going to have STLV fever throughout July, if not July and June and May, if you are on the fence, you should watch this because it'll help you decide if you want to go. If you are not going to Star Trek Las Vegas, you should go because then at least you'll get kind of your fix. You'll get to enjoy the people. You'll see the stuff. You can support the vendors and whatever. It's a good time. So
But
everybody
Ryan,
check that out. Yes.
How much does the pre-con con cost to participate in?
Well, we haven't come to an exact number yet. It's definitely the opposite of a non-zero number, though.
So we know that it'll be 0 times something, but we don't know what that second number is, right?
That's right. It'll definitely be a number subtracted by itself,
Okay.
but we don't know what that number
Ah.
is yet. There are some people in the
Gotcha.
live chat that are very confused about this, and Anne-Marie. Just kidding. So what we're saying in a roundabout way is that it's totally free. To quote Muhammad, thank you for that great and leading question. It's totally free. And we're just doing it because we love Star Trek Las Vegas. We love each other. We love you guys. And we love to just have fun with the community. And we hope you do too. Hopefully you'll enjoy it. And you'll be able to support some of the vendors. The people at the tables in the vendors room will be saying, hey, check out my wares. I make this really cool Star Trek earrings. And you'll be like, do you make the ones that are like the Klingon birds of prey that are cloaked? And they'll be like, yep. And you'll be like, oh, great. I'll go see your table or whatever it is. So check that out. Very important. Very cool.
Some relevant stuff in the chat from this. Chuck A says, please see me at my vendor's table and say hi, everyone. And Melissa H says, as a new STLV attendee, thank you for the info in advance.
Yay.
What are you drinking today? Oh, that's the wrong show. I'm drinking a delicious
Totally.
cherry lime beverage.
Oh,
Oh, that was wonderful.
It's really good. Took it from my parents in San Luis Obispo. Anyway, great. So let's have some fun. Thank you, Stephanie. She complimented my pun. Let's get started. On the first one, it's IndieWire.com. You know, we are huge fanatics of reading IndieWire.com.
I actually am. It's good.
I've never read it before, but I'm excited to now. Mohammed, would you please take it away and read this one? This is entitled Patrick Stewart and LeVar Burton agree Star Trek Picard Season 3 was perfect, but they pitch one last hurrah.
Ooh, exciting. So it starts with some quotes. I've been advised not to talk about it, but I don't care. I don't give a damn. What are they going to do? Fire you? It's a little too late for that. Patrick Stewart and LeVar Burton erupt in laughter, the kind of laughter that can only come from the dearest of old friends. And they are old friends. They've been on a 36-year journey together, playing Jean-Luc Picard and Geordi LaForge. In fact, the two of them, along with Jonathan Frakes, were the very first cast members announced for Star Trek: The Next Generation in May 1987. Now they've come to the end of that journey with Star Trek Picard Season 3, a reunion for the whole Next Gen cast that put them on one final mission among the stars. Quote, I think for the most part, all of us feel the same way, basically, Burton said. If this is indeed it, I don't believe we could have possibly gone out at a better moment for the crew and as a family.
Pretty interesting so far, but what else do they have to say?
Yeah, I think there's more. Or is it really the end? In a conversation with IndieWire's Award Spotlight, Stewart and Burton talked about the unique opportunity Picard Season 3 offered to evolve their characters. This wasn't just a nostalgia trip, repeating what we had seen of the crew in 1994 or 2002. It was to show where they were now, 20 years later. Do you want, actually, we can jump, I think it's like the last two paragraphs where they actually talk about the future. If you want to jump way down, otherwise it's just a lot of.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah. I think it's
It is a long one. And
Yeah, it's
what
like the
about
last two
very
paragraphs where they get to
old
that part.
friends? That's a quote from Lord of the Rings. Everybody knows. And what about very old friends?
Yeah.
There we go.
There you go. If season 3 was it for Picard and company, that was quite a finale. But there's the undeniable fact it was so good, it's left fans wanting more, which gets back to a certain pitch Stewart wanted to make. Quote, I think we could do a movie, a Picard-based movie, he said. Now, not necessarily all about Picard, but about all of us. And to take many of those wonderful elements, particularly from season 3 of Picard, and take out of that what I think could be an extraordinary movie. I keep telling people and mentioning it, and so far there's been no eager response. But it might well happen, and that would be, I think, a very appropriate way to say, and goodbye, folks.
I mean, I love me some Captain Picard. I love me some Next Generation. I loved, Picard the series.
Mhm.
I love the Next Generation movies.
Mhm.
I love it when people wear TNG characters on their shirts, like Muhammad.
Yeah, thanks to Melissa.
But do you guys think that there may be some other people in Star Trek going, bro, can we have a turn?
Yes.
Or do you think there's some people doing that, or do you think people are saying, Picard all the way, Picard, keep it going, let's run this thing back, let's keep it going?
Yes to both.
Yep.
Yes to both. Personally, I would like to see other people get a turn too. But the stuff that's come out has been really great, so that's been fun. So
I think we have the ice cream
Yes.
problem, right? In the sense that, like, there's never a time, like, let's say, for example, you have some ice cream. You're like, all right, this is the
Yeah.
last time I'm going to have ice cream. And it'll be so good, I'll just not want ice cream anymore. Like, that's never going to happen. Like, the only time people would stop wanting it is if it turned bad. So we don't want it to do that.
mhm. Yeah.
Okay, so we've got a poll in the live
I
chat.
thought I saw a pull face.
You did see poll face. The question is, do you want the next Star Trek movie to be TNG/Picard centric? The answers are yes, I'd be first in line, or nah, give the next movie to other people.
I want to say
Nah.
two, but my heart says one.
Nah. Now that I don't think that would exclude the Section 31 movie,
No.
because that's more of
Sorry.
a, well, it's probably going to be a
Well,
made for
actually,
TV thing, but maybe
This is
this would
actually
be too.
brought up in another article that I think got shared, but speculation that like Section 31 is the first in a line of movies that Alex Kurtzman has said he wants to make, like movies plural, not just like made for streaming movies, I guess you'd call it.
You know what I would
So
love
one
is like,
doesn't like exclude the other. Yeah,
Mhm.
sorry.
no, my bad. I interrupted you. Well, I would love like another series, of course, like something. It could be Legacy, for example. I'd love another series like that. And I would love if we occasionally like ran into like, oh look, there's Geordie LaForge.
Right.
Yeah, but like, I feel like we've done a lot now with this group. I mean, they've been great, and like I like the idea of going out on top and not having like what happened with Lost, where like again, we love the early seasons and then okay.
Yeah.
I mean, they get out of obviously the last several seasons of Next Generation were fantastic. Picard season 3,
Mhm.
everybody's, or at least vast majority of people, was extremely happy with. Okay,
Insurrection was amazing. Yeah, go on.
I loved Insurrection.
it was
Me
okay.
too, I loved them all.
It was okay.
So Melissa, what you and I were talking about actually is true. Muhammad's the #1 Picard hater. I didn't realize that. But
Not at all.
no, I'm just kidding. Nobody in the live chat believed that, please. I was just kidding. I just wanted to see his shocked face where he's like, I've only ever been nice to you.
It's still April Fool's for Ryan.
Yeah, forever.
Forever and ever.
Well,
I agree with Melissa H in the live chat. Like, I prefer the TV series to the movies, which I agree with. Like, I guess the fact that it's a movie makes me not sure how I'd vote, because I like just having lots of episodes. And movies usually mean more action and less like character moments.
Yeah.
That said, it's really fun to have Picard on screen and like get to call up my dad and talk about the episodes like the old days. So
that's
why I kind of went with Picard.
Aww.
He could be the person who comes at the very end. Actually, I guess like he did in Robin Hood Men in Tights. Remember the very end when he shows up? Not
And also,
Picard,
like,
of course.
his Picard's face just gets viewers.
True.
And it is nice having like more and more people back into Star Trek.
Well, and I will say that it's kind of fun, not kind of fun. It's really fun that Patrick Stewart is still so gung-ho about it after all of this time. And that he loves Jean-Luc Picard as much, if not more, now than he did probably back in the day. So that's really fun.
Yes, totally.
Great.
And speaking of, actually, like, he's about to start his book tour in a couple months for Make It So, his new autobiography. And I saw he's going to be in LA and New York in early October. So get your tickets now.
For October. Hey, so now there's a new poll in the live chat. The question is, yeah, but do you even want, okay, because look, the poll answer was do you want the next Trek movie to be Picard centric? 33% said yes, I'd be first in line. 66% said no, give it to someone else. So that leads us to question, well, do you even want a TNG Picard production? The options are, nah, I've had enough. Or, sure, a movie. Or, okay, but just in a TV series form. Or lastly, movie, TV, keep it all going.
Well,
those are your
does
options.
it have to be all or nothing? I mean, couldn't it, like Mohammed was hinting at before, be smatterings of Picard in new stuff? And maybe
I was thinking that would be like in a TV series form.
Okay.
But you're right, that's not terribly clear. Like, that's what you're saying is not a Picard centric series, but a legacy series that has smatterings of them, which I think is pretty much what they are going to be doing, right? I think it sounds like that's where they're headed with legacy, right?
That's what was teased, especially with the ending for Picard season 3 with Jack Crusher. It seemed like it was going to be more centered on him, and then Rafi and Seven and stuff like that, and then maybe those will just show up. But like, bring all the TNG cast together again, like, okay, it was wonderful, but like, let's wrap that now because it was great, and let's wrap it up.
Maberello just said it's San Francisco, not LA and New York for going to see him live talking about Make It So, his new book in October. So if you're in San Francisco, check it out.
Yum.
Woohoo.
San Francisco's a fun town. It's fun when it's that age.
Daughter's new.
Have you noticed that people always say that? You could say anything. Oh, how old
God,
is your daughter?
It's gonna be like Times Arrow Part 2.
How old is your daughter? 13. Oh, that's a fun age. How old is your son?
I don't think they'd say that
1.5. Oh, that's a fun age. How old is your uncle? 33. Oh, that's a fun age. Like,
I know, I love that.
I don't think they'd say about 13.
I love saying it about like adults. So
37. That's a fun age.
Yeah.
57. Oh, that's a fun age. Boy, oh boy. All right. Well, let's move on to the next bit of information here, because there's a little bit more discussed here from our good friends over at trekmovie.com. We'll just jump into this, but they kind of picked up where this left off. Trekmovie.com. This just dropped today. Check this out. Dr. Mohammed Noor, if you would, please.
After the third and final season of Star Trek Picard, which brought back the cast of Star Trek The Next Generation, fans have been wondering if there would be any follow-up. there's been a lot of buzz about a possible Star Trek Legacy spin-off series focused on the USS Enterprise G under the command of Captain Seven, played by Jerry Ryan. But Patrick Stewart is also thinking about what could come next for himself and the TNG crew. So Stewart wants a goodbye
Isn't this
movie.
the IndieWire thing we just covered? Or no?
This is Trek movie here.
Yeah, but they just are
yes, it's
quoting
about to
the
quote
IndieWire
IndieWire.
article.
Yeah.
Do you want me to read that, or do you want to skip ahead?
Yeah, please.
Sure. In a joint interview with LeVar Burton, Patrick Stewart talked to IndieWire about season 3, including the moment he visited the remade bridge of the Enterprise D for the first time as it was being completed. I went down there and I walked around the bridge alone and simply allowed all the memories to flood back. And yes, there have been some time-to-time difficulties. Of course there have. But mostly the bridge signified to me creativity, work, and companionship, and also dependency. As Jean-Luc Picard, I needed every single one of my fellow actors up there. And I think it was the same for all of us. There was a combination of dependency and freedom.
I really
Burton chimed in
liked
on his-
that close. Sorry
Yeah.
to chime in, but I really liked that quote and how he's romanticizing the Enterprise bridge, and how cool is that? I mean, that's pretty awesome.
Agreed. So Burton chimed in on his reaction, and the bridge of the Enterprise reminded me of how much fun, because that was the one set where we would all be in a scene together, right? The rest of the episode, we were all out doing our separate things. But on the bridge days, they were raucous. We were reveling in each other and reveling in the work. And it was glorious. It really was.
Aw. So I just wanted to get a little bit more of that because we
Yeah.
kind of flew through that IndieWire guy.
Yep, that was
But
sweet.
that's a great one. So I wonder if there's, well, look, we know that Geordi restored the D, right? He loved the D. He restored it. He made it look glorious again for all of us.
In the article, Burton said he liked that it was Geordi who did that.
Yeah. So I wonder if, I mean, theoretically, if that could be brought back in Legacy as well.
Still there at the museum?
Still functions.
Yeah,
Okay.
we saw the
There's
lights
so
still
many
work.
other things like going on too. Like they're releasing season 3 and they're releasing them all as a box set. And then strangely, box set now says like Picard Legacy on the cover. It's just like an interesting choice of words
Yeah.
for how
Oh.
to
Which is
like
kind of strange.
continue with this. So everybody's speculating like, why add that? It's already its own season. It's already its own show name.
Right.
And then,
Check this out right here.
yeah.
Hang on. Right. You're referencing this. This is also trekmovie.com. Obviously, it's really interesting because they are calling it Picard Legacy Collection. So I wonder if that's a hint, if they were just always going to call it that already. And so Terry Matalas kind of got the idea from them. Where did all that come from?
I mean, I know there were some VHS box sets like in the 90s that were called like Picard heavy episodes or something, but yeah, it doesn't really explain why you need to have an extra like title in it.
Somebody give that lady some water.
I'm just
Connecticut's
saying.
got some tribbles in people's throats.
Oh,
Yeah.
whatever. Sorry.
Yeah, so super interesting.
Hmm.
And then
So-
of course there's the Akiva Goldsman saying that he signed the petition for
That is so
new
cute.
Star Trek. Yeah.
So, Mohammed, you want to read this a little bit? This came from Captain Picard Day a few days ago.
Yeah, it was funny actually. I remember that I walked into the office. The administrative manager for our office immediately said to me, "Happy Captain Picard Day." I had no
Aw.
idea, but she was on it.
Oh,
was very
That's
cool.
Great.
Did you say I only celebrate the Cisco Day?
All right. So the article says, "Happy Captain Picard Day. The third and final season of Star Trek Picard is coming home in September to DVD and Blu-ray with over 2.5 hours of special features." Whoa. There will also be a special box set for the full series and a quote legacy collection for the full Jean-Luc Picard saga on TV and movies. The home release for season 3 of Picard was just announced by Paramount Home Entertainment. Star Trek Picard, the final season, arrives on September 5th, just in time for Star Trek Day
Oh.
on DVD Blu-ray, and limited edition Blu-ray Steelbook. Special features include behind-the-scenes featurettes with the cast and crew, a gag reel, those are always great, never-before-seen deleted scenes, and audio commentary.
This was
Okay, so Legacy is like TNG also, plus the movies, but still like an interesting choice of words.
True.
Yeah.
It's a cool box.
Oh, it looks so good.
Yeah. I like Picard with, I'm sorry, not Picard. I like Worf with the white beard.
I do too.
Yeah.
I love
very
that
distinguished.
look.
Yeah.
You guys think that Terry Matalas used the idea of Legacy first, or that, you know, Paramount already planned on having this Legacy box set first?
Mm.
So like the interesting thing about all of this is that Alex Kurtzman had already talked about doing that anthology TV series at some point. And I thought like Legacy had sort of been thrown around at some point with that. And then Legacy started getting like earmarked as a sort of like Picard follow-up. So I just don't know. Or like, or are they all using the same word? Because it could be the same. I'm so interested.
Or maybe it happened during a board meeting of some sort where they all started throwing that word around, legacy, 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 in their talks about what could follow Picard and how do we, you know, should we follow it up? And so maybe it was a little bit of both of Paramount Plus and Terry Matalas putting in that word, and it stuck.
Good thoughts.
Okay.
Bill says no first episode of Deep Space Nine with Picard though. Interesting. Love that.
Okay. So we just closed out the previous poll, which was, do you even want a Next Generation Picard production? 15% of you said, nah, I've had enough and I hate parties. 21% of you said, sure, but just a movie. 24% said, okay, but in a TV series form. And 39% said movie, TV, comic book, whatever, keep it all going. I'm happy.
Audio drama.
Yep. Okay.
So just to answer Stephanie Berner, that anthology series was an Alex Kurtzman quote from like sometime within the past year about the idea of doing like an episode or like a couple episodes following like characters of yore and like checking in and seeing what they're up to.
I would love
So
for them to do this in short
Me
treks.
too.
I wonder if they could combine that with Star Trek Legacy, because that sounds like Star Trek Legacy in every way except for anthology. Because the way they set up, you know, the Enterprise G was not anthology. It was Voyager, Next Generation. It was
Strange New Worlds.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder if there's a way to use the new Enterprise as a catalyst for the anthology.
Do you remember when they first launched Discovery in 2017? That's what they said about Discovery.
An anthology every series or every season.
And they said it was going to be a touchstone. They used the term touchstone that set off all of the other shows. And Discovery was just going to be the one season, supposedly. And it's going to
a season, a different show every season or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So like Michael Burnham and Saru and all them were going to be just in the first season. Kind of like maybe like American Horror Story. It's like that, where a season is just one story and then they go on to the next. Other shows do that too, but then I guess it did so well. They're like, nope, we're sticking with this one. And it did kick off some things. We know it kicked off Strange New Worlds. It kicked off Short Treks in its own way. It's going to be kicking off Section 31.
Right.
Oh my gosh, I have to say, like, I started watching Strange New Worlds from like episode 1 again this week. It's amazing, and the way that Discovery set it up is just, it's even better than I remembered. So good.
Do we know the mission for the Enterprise G, like at the very end of Picard? So when we saw it leaving, but like, do we know what its mission is? Like,
think
Like, are they on a
so.
5-year exploration, or are they like chasing Samaki in the Badlands, or are they like, what's happening?
Good question.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't even care. I just want to see them hanging out.
Yeah,
But that is a good question.
yeah.
That's a good question.
'Cause, I mean, all the others had like some sort of mission associated with them, but it's true that it became apparent in the first episode. But I guess this
If
one we
they
haven't heard.
could, they didn't have an engineer, right? Who would you want their engineer to be if it's somebody we've already seen?
Wait,
Does it have to be the same
oh,
time frame, or just from any time frame?
Any time frame.
Trip Tucker, he's back.
Or
Of
like
course.
LaForge's other daughter.
Was she an
Mika?
engineer?
Yeah, she's like gold, and it looks like she's been training with Geordi. I don't know. She like knew how to do all the ship stuff. Good question though.
Yeah. It's a pretty young crew, though. It's a pretty
Mhm.
young crew. Also, they had Jack Crusher as special ships counselor. I wouldn't want a 21-year-old as my counselor. I'd be like,
Oh my gosh.
what do you know? I didn't know anything when I was 21.
It's not
4
unprecedented.
years
I mean,
later,
you
I
think
know
how
a lot.
many consulting agencies hire people straight out of college all the time to go be
True.
consultants? I mean,
It's true.
it happens all the time. I always think it's
Every-
weird, but it seems successful.
And he didn't have
True.
the ordinary upbringing that most American teen or youngsters have.
True.
Plus, everybody could tell he was really like 30. So
Yeah.
it's a little more workable.
Ooh, Scott
Uh,
Jensen says Molly O'Brien. Love that.
Ooh,
Ooh,
I like it.
I'd love to see
Good
Molly
genes for
O'Brien
yeah.
and Sirach Lofton.
That would be awesome.
Mhm, mhm.
So I think it's time. I think we've been way too cordial for way too long. I think it's time to talk about some Klingons.
Mm.
Do you guys remember back in 2016 or 17 when that picture got out and they said, new release, what was it? A new leak of Star Trek Discovery, and we were all over the moon about it. And then they go, check it out. These are Klingons, and everybody was like, it was like record scratch. Wait, what? And then some people are like, cool, new Klingons, and other people were like, those aren't Klingons, and they were dead. And then and that was like the beginning of like everybody just scratching each other's eyes out. So that being said, let's continue this Klingon discussion, but a little bit more civilly. Because we always have to be on our best behavior when Muhammad's here. On Friday, we tear each other's lips off. It's crazy.
I never understood the Klingon anger. Like, I remember when that first happened. Like, what? What's the big deal? Whatever.
It comes from Kahless.
Well, I kind of get it in that people have spent their entire lives with
Yes.
one way a Klingon is supposed to look, or they've grown up with this characterization of what a Klingon is supposed to be, and then suddenly it gets changed. The rug is kind of pulled out from under you, so it's kind of, sometimes it's hard to downshift that quickly and embrace something total. I mean, I don't get me wrong, I don't dislike the Klingons. I think they look very alien-esque and very brutish, but if you invest decades of your life into a characterization of a species, then if that gets changed suddenly, you're like, whoa, that's not right.
But this is a much smaller change than from original series to Next Generation, though.
Yeah, I'd like
They
to
like the
second.
Enterprise, like
The Enterprise tried to retcon that.
information.
Yeah.
And
But I don't
like,
think
I
anybody
already
ever
was happy
references
with
that.
that.
Somehow or other, like, they're all okay with like Worf being not at all like the old Klingons, but then these not being like Worf. Like, what? Why was this changed but not what?
but at the same time, we still had 40 decades with these kind
That's
of
a lot of
Klingons,
decades.
as opposed to TOS, where it's not nearly as long.
But
Yeah,
TOS,
so-
but TOS existed from the 60s through today. So it's actually 5 decades of
I
TOS.
get that, yes, but
And
the
then-
change existed much longer.
Oh, you mean just because it was in more series?
Yeah,
I see. I was gonna say, because like the TOS ones have been around longer. But yeah.
right.
Yeah.
I'd just like to add to what I think what Melissa was pulling up which is that if anybody has met Star Trek fans IRL, you'll know that some of them, we get a wide variety of people, and we get a wide variety of people's personalities. I think a much more varied group of personalities than most other shows. And some of them, are, have different ways of thinking. What's the nicest way I could put this? So basically what I'm saying is that there are a lot of people that are change averse when they're Star Trek fans. And when they become obsessed with Star Trek, we tend to think it's cute. We tend to celebrate it. We tend to say, hooray, hurrah. But we forget that some of them, part of the reason they're obsessed with Star Trek is because they are obsessive people, or because they are averse to change and they need to watch the same thing over and over again a million times. So the positive of that is, yeah, we get really good devoted fans. But the negative to that is, if you change the thing that they are really obsessed with, it's going to create some some problems. It's going to create some.
It's a bit of a culture shock.
It's a show with that really respects canon, and it's such a well-developed alien species with tons of world building in the most amazing way.
Yeah.
There were explanations in Enterprise. I just felt like there was no reason. I love the actors who portray Klingons in Discovery, but
me too.
It really,
I think that was the biggest, best
really
thing
was hard for me to get into
they picked
it.
the best people
it was
to
a really
play
bad
Klingons.
misstep.
They really did.
And then the makeup person tried to give an explanation at a convention after the fans were not liking it, and just whatever. Just let them be the amazing alien you created. And so I'm very happy to see they went back to my what I view as Klingons, or what works in the canon of the Russians of the shows.
I'm curious if the people who are more upset are the people who grew up mostly with TNG, Deep Space Nine. For me, I grew up actually with TOS. So for me, it was Klingons are different.
Right. I think your theory is correct. I think the people that grew up with TOS are going to be like, they changed the Klingons. That's nice. Whereas the other people are like, that's not Worf.
Yeah, that's why I don't understand it still. I hear what y'all are saying, but I understand what you're saying, but I can't relate. But I guess that's the point, is that since I grew up with TOS once, for me it's change is constant,
Right.
Whereas for y'all there was more stasis, and then this punctuated equilibrium.
Melissa H said the word in the live chat that I couldn't remember, dissonance. That is exactly the word I was looking for. Create some dissonance when you have, especially because there are a lot of people that are neurodiverse that are big fans of Star Trek, and they're averse to change, and these kind of things create dissonance. And so I try to be a little bit more understanding of them. I'm secretly I kind of giggle about it, but then we do have to be understanding that not everybody handles change as well as others. But anyway, this is a big long-winded way to bring up Star Trek Strange New Worlds has a new take on Klingons. By the way, I don't care what anybody says, those J.J. Abrams Klingons looked freaking rad.
Yes,
they
did.
Cool.
I agree.
At first, I was like, are those Klingons? I like it.
I liked the piercings.
Yeah. Both of them. Anyway, so what? Okay. So anyway, the point is, this is an article from our good friends over at screenrant.com, written by John Orchiola. You know him as Back of the Head in the live chat and also on Twitter. It's entitled, Why Strange New Worlds Changed Discovery's Klingons, explained by a Star Trek director.
Oh, maybe it's something on the seventh rule, perhaps?
Well, I wouldn't know.
Ooh.
And then right below it says Star Trek Strange New Worlds director Chris Fisher, director and executive producer. Chris Fisher explains the reason why the Klingons no longer look the way they did in Star Trek Discovery. And it goes a little something like, oh, please.
And say, I love the braids on that Klingon behind Spock. That's all. I love them. They're great. They suit him very well.
Yeah.
More hair braids on Klingons. That would be cool. Then that's
Yeah.
all.
Zombie Klingons are like, fresh braids.
Oh my God. So warning for everybody, as it says here, that this does have spoilers for the first episode of Strange New Worlds. So if you haven't seen it, you might want to just mute for a little bit until you see this picture go away.
Oh, nuts. Does it really? Okay, that's okay. Mohammed, would you like to read this little bit for us?
Sure. Star Trek Strange New Worlds director Chris Fisher reveals the reasons why the Klingons in season 2's premiere episode, The Broken Circle, don't resemble the Klingons seen in Star Trek Discovery. The crew of the USS Enterprise encounters Klingons on the planet Kajitar 4 in Strange New Worlds season 2's premiere. However, the Klingons look like they do in Star Trek The Next Generation, with hints of their appearance in the Star Trek The Original Series, instead of the more brutish and animalistic Klingons in Star Trek Discovery.
So before we continue, Mohammed, you're a genetic biologist, right? You know a little something here and there about that kind of stuff.
Yep.
Theoretically, if there were an alien species on a different planet, would it be possible to see some of these aliens that come from the same planet looking different from one another?
Thank you for that leading question.
I'm just, because I'm used to all Vulcans having the exact same haircut.
Yeah.
Or all of every species, when they go visit their courtyard, they beam down onto their courtyard, and then there's the two kids playing soccer in the corner and the other people playing chess. Somebody else carrying a basket of fruits, and they all are wearing the exact same thing.
Yeah, the sort of ragged clothes. Yeah.
Yeah, both orange and red, or the other planet, there are purples and greens, totally different. Theoretically speaking.
That's a Babylon 5 episode.
100%, yes. Like that, absolutely. Like there's, every species that's been studied to any extent has some geographic variation, that in some areas they look a little bit different than they do in other areas. And even within a locale, look at us here on the screen. We don't look identical. We have some similarities, we have some differences. And
people in the live chat are saying, is that why Dutch men are the tallest in the world? Yup. Things are different.
Yeah, no, totally. Absolutely, they can look different. And generally speaking, there's geographic variation. And there's even like patterns of geographic variation that you see in a lot of animals, for example, like shorter limbs as you go further towards the polar areas and things like that, just as one example. You tend to see lighter colors as you go towards polar areas. I mean, there's a lot of these patterns that are very, very like broad across the planet. So yeah. I mean, could you see facial structure differences? Yes, we see that in humans. If you look at somebody of Southeast Asian descent as compared to somebody of European or African descent, yeah, I mean, this is
Antarctican descent.
There's not so many humans of that, but
Scott Jensen in the live chat gets it. He says, "Long live the hacky sack." That's right. Everybody knows when TNG, when they land on that courtyard, there's two kids playing hacky sack, or they're kicking a ball and giggling.
Oh, look, there's some new people.
Yeah. And then the person's holding their basket of fruit going like, oh, this is very unusual, but I'm going to carry my fruit. Anyway.
The Starfleet people always say they're from the southern continent or something like that. They go with some story.
Or from France.
Yeah, I'm from France.
Yeah. From France.
Anyway, the point is that the article continues and it says a little something like this, right, Mohammed?
No, okay, sorry, I thought you were about to say it. Appearing as a guest on The Seventh Rule, hosted by Sirach Lofton and Ryan T. Husk, whose Twitter handle is Ryan T.G. Husk. Director Chris Fisher explained why Strange New Worlds Season 2 changed the look of the Klingons, and the reasons are based upon the needs of the Strange New Worlds story, rather than a reaction to the negative fan outcry over Star Trek Discovery's Klingons. Read his quote and watch the podcast below. I'm just going to read you the quote. I'd say one of the big challenges of this episode for me as a director was reintroducing Klingons. I personally love the look of the Klingons in Discovery, but that look wasn't going to work for us. Because we're a character-driven show, we need Klingons who can actually emote emotion and not have so much prosthetics and visual effects. So really kind of move the Klingons from a creature into a character. And you'll see through the season, the Klingons, we come back to them in a different way and maybe even tone them down a little bit more.
I thought that was a very
Is that how he
good.
said it?
Yeah, I feel like that was a very good answer from Chris Fisher,
Mhm.
executive producer and director on Strange New Worlds. And by the way, thanks for covering that, screenrant.com,
Yeah.
covering the seventh rule, because we feel like we have newsworthy stories several times per episode.
Mhm.
It's just, who wants to cover it? It's whoever wants to cover it, they're going to have a treasure trove. And we think that we have some really good guests, and they give us such good stuff. Like Chris Fisher comes on, and he's just this wealth of information and positivity and creativity. And I thought that was a very good answer on his part. He's saying like there's a very practical reason. He's not saying, oh, this is better or that's worse. He's saying that they want something where these Klingons are going to, maybe they're going to be saying a lot, or maybe it's more character driven. And this is their vision. Different show, different visions, And so
Yeah.
I remember Sirach also mentioning that the ridges were a little bit softer.
Yeah.
I think they
They
3D
did.
print the masks, like for example, Rennie and Dorian had the 3D printed Andorian mask, so like it just looks different than like the 90s pure makeup prosthetics. But the other interesting thing is Bernadette Croft, who might be showing up on the seventh rule later this week, did some Instagram posts where like she also looked at the Klingons' outfits, like in TOS, and tried to incorporate the black and gold into some of the Klingons you're going to be seeing like later in the season.
It's funny you mentioned her, because I was just going to say, everybody in the live chat, speaking of 3D printing, do you think that they, in Strange New Worlds, they 3D print any of the wardrobe?
Possibly.
How crazy would that be? Do you think that they could 3D print some of the actual wardrobe?
Yeah.
Well, to get that answer, check out Bernadette Croft joining the seventh rule. She is the costume designer for Star Trek Strange New Worlds. She will be joining us on the seventh rule this coming Thursday at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern time to talk about the new Strange New Worlds episode, because she's been designing some stuff that's out of this world. She's been knocking it out of the park with that fantasy episode that I can never remember the episode. What's the title?
Elysian Kingdom.
Elysium Kingdom. Thank you. Elysian Kingdom. That's the one. But I'm not going to tell you what her answer was, but she is on that episode. We will be talking about that. That is this coming Thursday, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern time.
Oh my God,
We have a great time. We may even ask her which was her favorite episode to do. Like, of all the wardrobe she's done, like I thought that this one for this week is amazing with all of the dress uniforms that we've seen in the trailers, and the preview pictures, those dress uniforms.
I just
Is
can't
that
get enough
her
of the
favorite?
intergalactic lawyer dresses. Oh my gosh, the couture. Here's what I would also like to know. What would her take be on Jake Sisko's outfits if he were to come back?
Yeah.
I would love to see Sirach Lofton reprising Jake Sisko and Bernadette Croft dressing him.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh my God, a girl can wish.
Back of the head says the seventh rule is a treasure trove that has been blowing up with amazing guests and gets the scoops.
Oh,
Thank you, John Orchiola. Really appreciate you there.
True.
What? Chris Marshall says, I know that a 3D printer made an edible pizza once. So anything is possible. Well, that's the replicator then at this point.
Yeah. But I also heard in a different kind of podcast where they were talking about AI and 3D printing and how they're going to sometime in the relative future be able to print tech into clothing, like weave it into clothing, which makes me say, of course that's possible if they 3D print clothing too. Why wouldn't it be?
Smart clothes. Sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, smart clothes. Yeah.
Also, while we're on this subject, very quickly, another article by screenrant.com, John Orchiola explains why Captain Pike was not in episode 1 very much of season 2. Now, some people might say, well, yeah, they explained it in the episode, but why did they find it necessary
Right.
to make an episode
There was a
without
reason.
Captain
Right.
Pike? There's a reason, as Dr. Noor says. Do you want to read that for us, Mohammed? Here it is, right here.
Star Trek Strange New Worlds director Chris Fisher explains why Captain Christopher Pike, played by Anson Mount, doesn't appear in most of season 2's premiere episode, The Broken Circle. Pike leaves the USS Enterprise in Lieutenant Spock's, played by Ethan Peck, hands at the start of Strange New Worlds season 2, episode 1. Chris goes on a solo away mission to find a lawyer to represent his first officer, Commander Una Chin Riley, played by Rebecca Romaine, at her Starfleet court-martial. But it's unusual, to say the least, for the captain of a Star Trek series to miss most of a season premiere.
Oh, that's strange. I wonder why that is the case then. Let's find
I bet
out
there was
more,
something on the
shall we?
seventh rule about it. Appearing as a guest on The Seventh Rule, hosted by Sirach Lofton and Ryan T. Husk, director Chris Fisher explained Captain Pike's absence and why Anson Mount had to bow out of appearing in Strange New World season 2 premiere. Read his quote and watch the podcast below. Don't right now, though, because I'll read you the quote. Anson just had a baby. He's not really going to be available for this episode. Pike's absence was definitely a challenge too, because Anson is such an incredible actor and Pike is such a great character. The episode focusing on the other Enterprise crew came from necessity of Anson just having had a baby, and he needed to spend time with his kid. So we knew that, of course, and we had 9 months to prepare for that. So our showrunners wrote an episode that kicked the door down in terms of fun and action and really leans heavily on what makes these other characters so awesome.
So how cool is that? They say, all right, we're going to start shooting on these dates. And Anson's like, that's starting to look a little bit like the due date for our child. And so they said, all right, thanks for letting us know. Let's write something that is, you could shoot that one little scene of you saying, hey, I got to go, and then we don't need you for those 2 weeks. Because I think they shoot things for 2 weeks per episode, something like that.
That's awesome.
So that's really cool. And congratulations to the Mount family. The baby's probably 1 by now.
Yeah.
1 even now.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's really cool. Great little coverage there by ScreenRant.com and John Orchiola there. People are like, but what about Dusty Stowe?
Well, I'm sure it's very nice.
Yeah, I want to meet him.
Yeah.
All right. So where do you guys want to go next? There's so much. You know what? Let's take a quick break from Strange New Worlds just for a moment to go to CBR.com.
Ooh, I know what this one is.
There's an article on CBR.com. This is a peculiar one.
Yeah.
That states the planned opening for Star Trek VI, The Undiscovered Country, was a disaster. Star Trek VI, The Undiscovered Country is one of the best franchise enders of all time. But the original opening for the Enterprise crew was bad. What does that even mean? Mohammed, could you read this for us for just a moment?
Sure. I love Star Trek VI and Undiscovered Country.
And it loves you.
Aww. Mutual love. Star Trek VI, The Undiscovered Country was the swan song for the original cast that coincided with the 25th anniversary of the franchise. However, if the filmmakers hadn't been bound by budgets, the film may have looked very different. In fact, the planned opening scenes for The Undiscovered Country would have been a disaster that outraged fans still mad from the previous film, which is still thought of as Star Trek's worst movie.
That's true. That is.
It kind of is. Yeah.
A lot of
I mean,
people-
it's bad, but it's just, on a relative scale. Somebody has to be
Yeah.
at the bottom.
That's true.
The most interesting coincidence in the making of this film is that it coincided with the fall of the Soviet Union and the end of the Cold War. Themes inspired by this geopolitical conflict were found throughout the run of Star Trek: The Original Series. The film tells the story of a crew ready for retirement whose last mission is risking their lives to save their most hated enemy. The Undiscovered Country was such a perfect finale to the first phase of an ongoing cinematic series. In fact, the credit sequence of Avengers Endgame, featuring the signatures of the original 6 actors, was directly inspired by Star Trek VI's credits. However, the original opening act of the movie would have fundamentally changed the story for the worse.
What
It was
is
partly
going on here?
You guys probably remember that. Like it was partly that opening thing with Praxis blowing up was basically based on Chernobyl, that disaster, which was thought to have been, part of the fall for the Soviet Union. And this is the same thing, whereas this was potentially the fall for the Klingon Empire.
What? More Klingons? What's
Coming to dinner.
They all look different.
Christopher Plummer.
Yes.
Was there more to this? Let me check.
And we didn't actually say what the original plan was yet. It's a little bit lower down.
I'm looking for that.
If we don't have time, I can just say like briefly what it was.
Yeah, just tell us what it is. This is
Yeah.
cbr.com. It's pretty long, but everybody go check that out if you'd like more details on it.
Sure. So briefly, the idea was that they were going to have essentially all the crew in other occupations and kind of unhappy. So I think like one of them was supposed to be like a taxi driver. One was, I mean, literally, I'm not making that up.
I love that.
And, I think Scotty was actually the only one in a sort of Starfleet related job where he was working at the academy. But generally speaking, they were all kind of unhappy. The problem is that was basically something that already had come up in like the first 2 movies, where they were kind of out of their comfort zone. They're being, exploring the final frontier. Like that had already been done, and then just having them all unhappy like that wouldn't have been a fun opening. It was much nicer having like Sulu in command of the what's the name of the ship? Excelsior. Thank you.
Excelsior.
Yeah, and the rest of them still all on the Enterprise. I mean, that was much better. And again, it continued the thread from the earlier movies. So that I think that was a smart move, even if it was budget driven. I think part of the issue why they didn't do that is the budget connection there was that filming them all in these different places would have cost so much money. So that's good. I'm glad it cost that much. They didn't want to do it.
Would you like to go all the way to the Strange New Worlds trailer?
Yes.
Like they're like, okay, you
Hot
guys
off
got
the
one
presses.
episode so far. How about another trailer?
Yay.
Well, one episode and photos from the first 3, which is kind of unprecedented. And now a second trailer.
That trailer had a weird review.
And the trailer, this trailer
revealing.
has this trailer goes like even farther. So
Spock
super
goes even
interesting.
further into his barista look. Barista look, you say? Oh, yes. Oh, wow, this is funny. This is from our good friend, John Orchiola at screenrant.com as well. This guy is busy. How does he keep doing all this work while the rest of us are just reading Spider-Man comics? So this one is entitled Strange New World Season 2 trailer teases death, Star Trek crossover, and human Spock. I'll read this one for a bit. A new trailer for Star Trek Strange New World Season 2 reveals hints at what's to come in the upcoming episodes. Strange New World Season 2 premiered with The Broken Circle, where Lieutenant Spock stole the USS Enterprise and prevented a renewal of war with the Klingons. It is an exciting beginning that addressed lingering plot threads from Strange New World Season 1, like the upcoming court-martial of Number 1, aka Commander Una Chin Riley. On her Twitter, Celia Rose Gooding, who plays Ensign Nyota Uhura, shared a new trailer titled This Season on Star Trek Strange New Worlds. The 90-second trailer offers tons of hints of the Strange New World Season 2 episodes yet to come, including a glimpse at Jack Quaid as Ensign It's Bradward Boimler.
Yeah.
Bratwurst Boimler in the crossover episode with Star Trek Lower Decks, ending with the bizarre sight of a human Spock.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Now this
I
reminds
have to
me
say-
of
Okay.
this reminds me of Voyager.
Voyager Faces. I was just going to say that. I love that episode so much with B'Elanna Torres separated into her two halves.
Yep.
Oh, so amazing. Love when they go this way.
Oh, check this out. So here's Bratwurst Boimler as well
So
himself in Strange New Worlds. Let's see. It says the visual of Spock with rounded ears, apparently turned fully human, is an eyebrow raising cute tag for Star Trek Strange New Worlds Season 2's new trailer to end on. But there's a lot to be gleaned from the new footage. Some of the most enticing shots include Lieutenant James T. Kirk consoling Ensign Uhura about death. And Nyota admitting she's never been able to face death. It looks like the crew of the USS Enterprise sees plenty of action at various points, from Captain Christopher Pike on Rigel 7 to Spock encountering a Gorn while wearing a spacesuit outside the Enterprise. Speaking of the Gorn, Captain Battelle gazes in fear at what appears to be a Gorn mothership hovering over a planet's surface. Have we seen a Gorn mothership yet?
I thought, didn't we see that in the first season?
It's not Gorn ships. I don't know what a mothership specifically
Yeah,
means.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah, their ships are awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I love it.
We saw a Gorn ship also in TOS, in the arena. I mean, not very well, but it was running away.
They're great fighters too, in slow motion. It continues. Of course, Star Trek Lower Decks crossover of Strange New Worlds happens in Season 2, Episode 7, Those Old Scientists, and the new trailer offers a glimpse of Jack Quaid as Ensign Brad Boimler, who reminds the crew of the Enterprise that they're in, quote, the golden age of exploration, end quote. Not to be confused with the golden age of grotesque, a song by Marilyn Manson everybody knows. There are also some light-hearted
Oh my
moments.
gosh, I was confused.
There are also some light-hearted moments like Lieutenant Erica Ortega's promising number one that the Enterprise, quote, practically flies itself, end quote. Commander Una Chin Riley's court-martial is up next in the second episode of Star Trek Strange New Worlds Season 2. And she's back on the Enterprise. And once she's back on the Enterprise, they can leave their world behind and boldly go on Season 2's all new adventures.
I was going to say Archer is rolling over in his grave about that golden age of exploration, except we know he's not in a grave. He's in that weird vault.
Do we know what this means? Like, I saw Dr. Mbenga do it in like episode 1 to Lon, and then I saw it in one of these trailers again, and I think I saw it maybe in the premiere of this season. Like, is it something to do with the Klingon War? Has it been explained? You know, or is it yet to come?
I don't know. I just thought of a joke though.
Okay.
What does Christina Chong's character do when she goes to Battlestar Galactica and sees a what are those things called?
Cylon?
Cylon?
Oh yeah, that's what it is. A Cylon. Never mind.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
So sorry. But what was your question, Anne-Marie? I'm sorry that.
So like you see Dr. Mbenga go like this to like Lon throughout the series
Yeah.
so far. Has that been explained? Is it
I know that in some European cultures, if they do something like this, it means like I'm joking or I'm kidding or you know, like a wink, like how we wink in American culture. We go like, we'll look at somebody and go like,
yeah, show me what a wink looks like.
So that's so maybe I don't know if that's what that was when he did this. Maybe they'll explain it later. I don't know, but no, we don't.
Okay.
We haven't heard anything to my knowledge.
Okay.
If our friend Robert Kaiser didn't go to bed all early at 3 a.m. in Austria, he could confirm whether this is another thing
Okay, so John Orkeela says it hasn't been explained yet. That's what I thought. I just didn't realize how far back it went because it was definitely in like episode 1 of season 1. So interesting.
Mm-hmm. Well, where
You're
shall we go
muted,
next?
Mohammed.
Sorry, I was
You
saying
know what?
sci-fi guy. I was saying that it'd be great to see Jolene Blaylock come back as T'Pol.
Yes.
Man, I really want
Totally.
that.
That'd be
Mhm.
awesome.
And
love
Dr.
that.
Phlox.
I
Yeah.
want
I need a book.
anybody from Enterprise
Mhm.
because
Agreed.
we can do it. This is the one time we can
Yes.
do it without doing weird time travel, whatever's. Even the humans.
Yeah.
This is like 80 years in the
Exactly.
future. We know humans live to be like 150 or 170,
Mhm.
right? Bones McCoy was like what, like 160 or something like that when he visited the Enterprise?
Mhm.
Something like that.
that, yeah.
Enterprise D.
Exactly.
But Jolene Black would be easy because we saw that she herself even could get that old in that episode where the Enterprise came back. And remember this in season 3 of Enterprise of the series Enterprise, and the old
Mhm.
T'Pol was on the ship, and she was like 100 years older. It's not even
That's
that far.
Squared.
E squared. That was the
But
episode.
yeah.
Exactly. I couldn't think of the name. That's exactly it.
Nerd.
Good job, Amory.
I go Voyager. She goes faces. He says Enterprise. She goes E
Yeah, give me
squared.
another one.
Very good. Well, where shall we go? Oh, you know what? This is important. We can't give everybody some love and forget all about the one that got us to the dance in the first place. And that is our friends over at Star Trek Discovery.
Yeah, this is
So-
nice to see. Like,
Yeah.
I wonder if it's like if there are little clues in it that are gearing up for the new season. Sometimes they do that.
So this is from trekcore.com. It's entitled New Star Trek Discovery Black Alert Strategy Board Game Announced. Anne-Marie, do you want to just tell us about this one?
Well, I mean, basically that's it. There's a board game about Discovery, which is pretty cool. Like, and it looks like, I mean, all the like pictures of the cards and everything, it looks very well thought out and very well done, not just like a money grab. So I'm just interested to see, like, as people play it, if there are any like clues to the plot of the next season.
Section
Or like,
31.
I think there's some like extra info for section 31. And it seems like these things as they're coming out, like the between season comic books, like it seems like they fit with canon.
This looks really like a lot of
Doesn't
fun
it look
here.
nice? I like just when I
Like-
get it to read all the cards.
You
to be
can see
honest.
all the different characters you can play. Like they've got a little setup here with Tilly, Georgiou, or I guess maybe the Empress there, Empress Georgiou, Stamets, Michael Burnham.
Jen.
I don't see her there.
I think I saw a picture where Serana's somewhere. Maybe it's a card.
Ah, wow, this is cool.
Oh,
Isn't it awesome looking? Like the production value of this is amazing.
Yeah. Oh, you could be Commander Landry. Yes.
yes.
Bringing her, speaking of Battlestar Galactica,
Rekha
everybody remembers her as
Sharma.
Tori. Yeah, I love Rekha Sharma. Good for her. Wow, so this is like season 1.
Yeah.
It's like a season 1 board game because it's got Lorca, Commander Landry, Georgiou. Well, no, it's got her. Oh, it's got them all as
Those
Mirror
are like
Universe.
the Mirror Universe section.
Oh,
That's the
yeah.
universe section.
Captain Killy.
But the pictures are from season 1. All of
Yeah, you look at Michael Burnham's
Right.
hair, and that was season 1, right?
them.
Yeah.
Tilly looks season 1.
The Captain Killy one is. Oh yeah, I guess that was season 1
Yeah,
too.
that's
Also,
season
yeah,
one.
you're right. That was season 1. Yeah.
Interesting. So this looks really fun. Cool. So everybody check that out.
I'm just always
job,
for
Discovery.
Star
Yeah.
Trek swag.
So you're going to get it and teach us all how to play, Anne-Marie, at Star Trek Las Vegas.
Oh my god,
Oh,
it's
I'm
hard.
totally
I have
down.
a hard time learning new game rules. If I
Yeah,
want to
you
get
don't
it and just
seem-
read the cards.
You don't seem like you'd be good at learning new game. I'm not. When people read me, they're complicated ass board games.
Oh my god,
I'm
when
like-
I try and learn magic from my brothers, I'm like, oh,
Oh, Magic, the game, yeah.
So difficult.
What about you, Melissa? Are you Magic the Gathering, or are you like board games too complicated?
Well, I played Monopoly. Does that count?
Nowadays, board games are pretty. Sorry, tabletop games.
Yeah.
Nowadays,
Tabletop
it's
games.
kind of like when you call like people's toys, and they're like, they're action figures. Oh, they're toys. But nowadays, those board games are like they have like 30 or 50-page rule books.
Yeah.
It's
can't say that I've ever played one of those.
oh, you're missing out.
I thought it very compelling, Ryan.
So we have a few minutes left. Where do we want to go next? I see.
Yeah, Prodigy or Lower Decks news, because it shows we haven't discussed.
There aren't really, but can we just take a second to look at the memes from Strange New Worlds? Like, okay, I just sent you in Facebook Messenger this article. That's so fun. So basically what happened, so it's John Orchiola saw it on Twitter and wrote it up, and which saved me a lot of work getting everybody's responses to this amazing Trek movie challenge, which was a picture of Spock and Uhura, and they made the background a green screen, and then the Trek movie tweeted out like, everybody submit your memes.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Like, after you photoshopped it, and it's just like, so he did his top 10, which I totally
the internet did not fail.
Oh yeah,
they are so fun. So I just Facebook messaged you the article.
Okay, but before that, very quickly, this movieweb.com article, Star Trek director explains Captain Pike's fleeting presence in Strange New Worlds pilot episode. Well, this one covers the 7th rule as well. What fun. Oh, so sorry. No, it covers something called 7th rule. Never heard of them.
Yeah.
Anyway, so everybody go check out that movieweb.com article, though. That's pretty cool. Thanks for covering us. Ali Valley,
who I can't find on Twitter, but MovieWeb has like 200,000 followers.
Yeah.
So.
Good work. Good stuff there. Look a little different there. Anyway, okay, so I'll pull up that thing that you're talking about.
Okay,
you don't think that's a Star Trek and Chill article?
It actually was supposed to be on Friday, and it got bumped because we were so busy. Or you can save it for Star Trek and Chill.
We'll let John Orchiola, who wrote it, decide if we want to just fly through it right now at warp 10 or 9.9. We don't want to get crazy. Or if we want to save it as a discussion piece on Friday.
Reading. Is he still there?
Yeah, who knows? Maybe he's gone. Yeah, I don't know how much. Okay, well, let's just fly through it. Let's have our fun. We've earned it.
I feel like we've earned it. Yeah.
Read fast.
We had to think.
We won't even need to.
We don't even have to read it. We just have to know that Trek movie really set it up for everybody to knock it out of the park.
Spock in the Civil War. Cute.
Which is the picture from Voyager from Death Wish.
Yeah.
Where it's Thaddeus Riker in the hero place.
Spock and Uhura in Star Wars Galactic Senate. Oh, very good.
Aren't they so
very
good?
Oh my gosh. That's great.
Spock and Uhura replace Ted Lasso.
Oh, I love that. They're the new managers.
Spock and Uhura join Community's study group.
Oh, I love that show. That'd be awesome.
Okay. And then we've got every cosplayer going to a con knows this. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Dragon Con.
That's funny. Also, I gave it my bet. Oh,
I
he's with
love
Better Call
this
Saul.
Better Call Saul.
So good.
Amazing.
Very good. Spock and Uhura join Game of Thrones. Oh, this ought to be fun. What, is he sitting on a dragon or what? Oh, the Iron Throne.
The Iron Throne.
Wow, well done.
Yeah. Cersei's gonna take out Spock.
That works.
Yeah. She's the
My
hand.
favorite article in like weeks.
Did they add a hand thing to her? Or no, they didn't add a
No.
hand thing to her. Okay. That would've been amazing.
Spock and Uhura in the studio. Dropping beats.
Oh.
Popping out some bangers, they say.
Coffee cups.
And
Love this.
Mason. Number 2, Spock and Uhura in Mar-a-Lago.
Oh my God. I don't want this one.
Oh,
Yeah, in the
no.
bathroom in Mar-a-Lago, no less. Oh my God.
He's sitting on the pot too.
Yeah.
Oh my
I don't know where
god.
she's standing there.
Spot and Uhura in Furious 7. I think we have to- Okay,
That's a
good
spot.
enough.
Oh, I see.
Red.
Oh, it's-
That's pretty funny.
Back of the head said, do what you want.
yeah, I saw that. That was funny.
So fun. Oh my god. I've like looked at that article so many times and giggled. Cracks me up.
Well, speaking of cracking us up, actually, you know what? Let's do warp speed, knock out the rest of the articles. Watch this.
Okay.
So,
Quick hits.
trekmovie.com here. Interview Star Trek Strange New Worlds EPs on Spock's arc, Klingon design, Gorn canon, and season 3. This is a fun one. Check it out. Written by Anthony Pascal. It was a few days ago. Good interview. Move it or lose it, whatever that means. Then we also have, okay. We do have to cover this one for sure, because it's a preview of the next Strange New Worlds episode. Okay. TrekMovie.com previews Ad Astra per Aspera with new images and clips from Star Trek Strange New Worlds episode 202. Wait, isn't there like a group called 202 or what's their name? They have like the OH for the O. 202 or 303. Maybe it's 303. Somebody knows what I'm talking about.
Colorado?
I don't know. Somebody in the live chat knows. So here are the preview pictures. Anson Mount is Captain
timely
Pike
for New York. Like
wearing his mask.
Yeah, from New York. I like that.
He's wearing a mask. Looks like they're people's reflections.
And a gorgeous jacket.
And a gorgeous jacket that Sirach Lofton may or may not comment on. He will, though. That Sirach Lofton may or may not doodle. Draw himself.
Here's dress number 1 of like the most amazing wardrobe of all time on Star Trek.
And
For
shoes.
what character?
Yeah, look at those.
Yeah.
Those are weapon shoes.
Oh, I love a flipped collar.
That is a great jacket.
Pike
I like the
jacket.
picture there with the like, it's almost like he has shoulder horns kind of thing.
Yeah, it looks like
Yes.
talons coming out, right? Then we've got, please correct me, but it's Yetide Badaki as, what is it?
Nira?
As Nira, yeah. This one's fun too. Look, it's got 2
Love the
collars, but
cut.
one goes down in the middle of her chest and the other one goes off to the side in a
Love
regular way.
The asymmetrical collar is so
Mhm.
futuristic
Totally.
and cool always.
Mhm, mhm.
Love this.
That's good style.
And the red with kind of
And the
almost like
color,
the
yeah.
splatter paint design.
Mm-hmm.
And here we have these dress
Ooh.
uniforms that are
Yes.
super sharp.
So nice.
Do you, everybody in the live chat right now, do you now understand why we absolutely had to have the costume designer Bernadette Croft joining the 7th rule this week? Because of this. Exhibit A,
episode.
your honors.
A through D.
Your honors.
Uh,
Plus, like, I don't know, she'll like, I had seen her on Instagram at some point say, like, in the background, you see, like, for example, that guy on the left, the Vulcan, and like Spock
That's
too.
Spock.
Though that shoulders, I know, the shoulder gold is
Yeah.
to sort of tie it in with the Discovery uniforms from season 1.
Ah,
It's
makes
freaking
So brilliant.
gorgeous.
I like that
Yes.
blue dress.
I like the little shiny light on his hand because it's a callback to like original series
Yeah.
when they were under that trial.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So cool.
And would you look at this? They're all
Yeah.
dressed up. Who's
Yeah.
that?
Ah,
Yep.
so cool.
Unidentified Starfleet officers. I'll just bet you this is an actor that we've seen before. I'll just bet
There's
that
Vaughn
this is
Armstrong.
somebody we've seen before.
Or somebody maybe named Bruce.
Bruce Boxleitner?
Oh, Horak?
I don't know.
No.
It could be. No,
Could
it's
be.
not.
Could be. Then this one is Melanie Scrofano as Battelle. Here she is.
Saw her in the
Looking
pilot and the
amazing.
finale of the season 1.
Yep. I love the way their comm badges are all different too.
Yeah.
It's all very confusing and
Plus,
geometric.
like,
Well, and the
last-
Resistors, that was their, wasn't it the insignia for their ship or their assignment, I guess, right? Because like people, like they didn't all have the same thing in the original series. They didn't all have the same delta. Like some from other ships had other symbols.
Yeah. There's Una
Yeah.
chilling.
Hers is similar to the other gold.
Yeah, I think they each have like, they each maybe signify a battle that they've won or something like that. Like imagine like Cub Scouts or war generals, but imagine if they just
Gotcha.
put, yeah, but they put them all together into a geometric shape.
That
So this
makes
is from like
sense.
the Battle of whatever,
They're
and this
Girl
is
Scout
the Treaty of
It's
whatever.
like this. It's like stripes. The stripes you earn for military stripes.
Okay,
Mm.
this is the
Sold
best
most
one
Girl
in my
Scout
book.
cookies. Me
Look
too.
at this.
I'm obsessed
Oh, I
with the
love
stress.
that.
Mhm.
I can't get enough of it.
Mhm.
Well, you're gonna have to.
It
Anne-Marie,
should be
calm
like
down.
a dress you can buy at the store. It is so cool.
Cosplay it. You have time. We
That
have the
thing's-
technology.
3D printed.
You have to be a master seam like tailor to do that. Oh my gosh.
And here's Melissa's boyfriend.
No, that's Ethan.
He's not in an apron.
Well, how do you know he won't be in an apron this season or this week?
Mm.
Oh, I don't.
What if he is in an apron this week? Then maybe.
his hair not look as tall as it did?
Oh, shoot. You're right.
People have been saying that. I wonder if we've just gotten used to it. I don't know.
I don't know. No,
And then
it
they're all,
looks shorter.
he's having a
So-
little
so.
dinner or meal or looks like just a chat with Melanie Scrofano as Battelle again. Then Spock is looming over Ortegas and Mbenga.
Oh, that's
Love
so
that.
pretty. I like that shot
Mhm.
with the
Mhm.
It is
planet in
gorgeous.
the background and,
Totally.
and with the red on the chairs.
The color is
Yeah.
so like the red is so complementary to the to
Mhm.
what's behind it.
Yeah,
It's
it's really
freaking
pretty.
amazing.
Interesting their orientation relative to the planet.
Yeah, they're upside down.
Yeah, right. We don't usually see that. So, like, if you were from the planet's
But that would
perspective,
make more
ship
sense,
look
right?
Upside down. Yeah.
It would make more sense that like who's
Yeah,
to
it should be
say that we're
whatever.
always like ships always come at each other like this.
Exactly.
Who's to say that they wouldn't come at each other like this or like
Yeah,
upside down? Or, I
should.
mean,
Yeah.
anyway. Oh, okay. So we got to roll out couple. There are only a couple other pictures left with a couple of the characters we've already seen, but they're great. Great job by trekmovie.com there. Dr. Nord, would you happen to have a trivia question for everybody
I do.
today?
This one's not too hard. Well, actually, I guess I can make it. Let me make it easier because I mean, I feel like the last couple have been very hard. So, in today's episode, we mentioned another episode of a Star Trek series. In today's episode of the main viewer, we mentioned an episode of Star Trek series, and that one, and it's from Enterprise. Okay, narrowed it down a lot. In that episode, there were two descendants of Enterprise crew who were there. One of them was Lorian. Who was the other one?
All right. Ooh, Melissa's got her confused look.
No, I'm trying to remember.
I tried to, and then I gave up. So let's talk about this week, everybody. So yesterday on the Seventh Rule YouTube channel, we released our full review of Star Trek The Next Generation episode Symbiosis from season 1 with Denise Crosby. So it's myself, Sirach Lofton, and Denise Crosby talking about Symbiosis. It's a great one. You can check out the entire full review. Do not miss it. Even the free-for-all, even the free-for-all. So check that out. Also, tomorrow at 6, that's Wednesday, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern time, go to the Falling Tower YouTube channel. It's time for the Watch the First podcast at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern time. Wolverine and the X-Men is the Disney spinoff because it's Disney spinoff month. Wolverine and the X-Men, myself, Dr. Muhammad Noor here, and actor, writer, director Desmond Heck joins us. Everybody remembers and loves Desmond Heck. He's a big time Paula Abdul fan. Seriously.
Really?
I know, straight up.
Love Paula
Wow.
Abdul.
Me too.
Somebody knows that I snuck in a Paula Abdul song right there.
I know. Now tell me.
So, and then tomorrow, of course, the next day, Thursday, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern time. After you've watched the new Strange New Worlds episode, go to the Seventh Rule YouTube channel and check us out. Myself, Sirach Lofton, and Bernadette Croft talk all about costuming, designing, and specifically this episode, but not just this episode, not limited to just this episode. We're going to be talking about the costuming from season 1, from her work on Discovery, everything. We're going to just go knee deep. We're going to talk about her preschool years. We're going to, oh boy, her favorite, whether she likes red licorice or black licorice, or like those weird green apple flavored licorice or something.
Yes.
All of it.
Yes.
So
all
check
of
that
it.
out. Thursday, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern time on the Seventh Rule YouTube channel. Then right back here on Friday, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern time, live, we have Star Trek and Chill. We're going to talk about Star Trek. We're going to chill. We're going to have beverages. We're going to eat chocolate. We're going to talk about grilled cheese sandwiches and Star Trek. Oh, we actually got a very special show that we're trying to line up for this Friday. So everybody stay tuned. You don't want to miss it. It's extremely relevant to what we've been talking about right here today. So you don't want to miss that. It's very relevant, specific to this week, and it's going to be awesome. Don't miss it. Lastly, mercifully, on Sunday at 9 a.m. Pacific, that's noon Eastern time, what do we got? On the Seventh Rule YouTube channel, we have the Next Generation Season 1 review special. Denise Crosby returns to the Seventh Rule to talk about the entirety of
Oh my
the
God,
Next Generation
yesterday's
Season
Seventh
1.
Rule.
That's awesome.
It's pretty good.
That's very
So check that out. And then right after that, we will have a Deep Space Nine deep dive segment as well. That'll be 9:30 Pacific time. That's noon 30 Eastern time. That's it. What's our answer, Dr. Noor?
2 people got it right. Bill Erickson, War Dog Time, and Allison Lee Chai. The correct answer is Karen Archer. She was the great granddaughter of Captain Archer. I was debating whether to do a anagram of it, which was Crank Hearer, but I was like, no, I'll skip the anagram this time.
That would have been fun.
I don't know that anybody else would have gotten that. But yeah.
Crank could be 2 things. One, it was a euphemism or slang for some illegal drugs back in the 90s. And wasn't it also like in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? Like he was like the bad guy that was in that big robot. He was like
That
a
was
slug.
Krang. Wasn't that Krang?
Krang, you're right.
Oh.
Krang. So close.
Good knowledge there, Dr. Emery.
Yeah, good
Yeah.
work.
My sister is a massive Ninja Turtle fan.
Ah,
How massive is she? Oh, I see what you mean. Like
She had the bed
comet?
sheets. Yeah.
Anyway, Dr. Anne-Marie Siegel, please tell everybody where they can find you. And anybody that wants to know what's up with Star Trek, they should be following you.
At Anne-Marie Siegel 1 on Twitter.
Portia in the live chat, and oh, what's up, sci-fi guy? They both tell us, yes, it was Krang, not Crank. Melissa Longo, where would you like to be found online?
At Melissa Longo, Malissa, on social media, and interpreterrepublic.com, Walking Art Made by Melissa, and Walking Art Made by Melissa on Patreon. There is a story going on and some new stuff coming that I'm so excited about for that page. Yeah.
So everybody be sure to check that out. It's very important. Dr. Noor wearing his radical shirt. Where would you like to be found?
Found on Mafnoor, MAF like Frank, and like November OOR on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, or whatever. Probably LinkedIn too, and all those things. And on YouTube is Biotrekkie, BIOTREKKIE. Thanks for having me.
Well, I feel like I need to update my LinkedIn. Every once in a while I get people ask me about LinkedIn. I'm like, come on, man. I haven't even opened up my LinkedIn in at least 10 years. Probably, I don't know, 14. I don't know.
Or usually they should find you on IMDb.
Yeah. But, maybe it's a thing. So also, everybody, you could find me on Twitter at RyanTGHusk, or Virtual TrekCon, The Seventh Rule, or Falling Tower on your favorite social media, especially YouTube, or on LinkedIn. I think it's like Ryan Husk. It's probably Ryan Husk or something like that on LinkedIn. Go send me what are they called? It's not like a friend request. What are they called? They're called like connection invites, or
yeah, I think that's right. Yeah.
Or I don't know.
I can't remember, but yeah.
Yeah, LinkedIn. Favorite band, LinkedIn Park. All right.
Oh my gosh.
Let's get out of here. Thanks everybody for joining us. We really appreciate you. We had a great time. You guys kept it very lively, and we hope to see you again very soon. And when you want to see Star Trek Picard / Next Generation movie, put it on the main viewer and watch it there.